Burkina Faso's nuclear ambitions. A new dawn in Africa's geopolitical landscape. Is the youthful and charismatic leader of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, positioning his nation as a central player in the nuclear game. Over the past few years, Burkina Faso has embarked on an extraordinary journey of transformation, particularly in its economy and military. But recently, Traoré has taken his country in a new direction, one that has sent ripples of concern across the global stage, especially in the West. Few could have imagined that Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation often overshadowed by larger African countries, would be making such a bold move into the nuclear energy sector. Yet, here we are, witnessing the creation of the Burkinabe Atomic Energy Agency, or BAAE, a development that many see as much more than an attempt to solve the country's energy crisis. Could Burkina Faso's nuclear ambitions be about more than just powering homes and industries? Is the country preparing to wield the ultimate geopolitical tool, nuclear weapons? And what does this mean for Africa's position in the global order? In this video, we'll explore these questions and more. We'll dig deep into what this nuclear program really represents, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire African continent. We'll also examine how the West, which has long maintained a near monopoly on nuclear technology, is likely to react to this unexpected challenge. Will Western powers try to block Burkina Faso's progress, or will they be forced to adapt to a new reality where Africa is no longer on the sidelines of technological advancement? This is a reminder, if you have not, to please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's dive in. Ibrahim Traoré has emerged as a bold and pragmatic leader, steering Burkina Faso through a period of significant political and economic upheaval. Under his leadership, the country has undergone rapid changes, modernizing its military and economic infrastructure. But his most audacious move to date has been the establishment of the Burkinabe Atomic Energy Agency, or BAAE. While nuclear energy offers obvious benefits, such as providing a stable and sustainable energy source to a country where only 25% of the population has consistent access to electricity, many observers believe there is a broader strategic dimension to this initiative. Burkina Faso's nuclear program has raised eyebrows in the international community, especially among Western powers that have traditionally maintained control over nuclear technology. But why are they so concerned? After all, nuclear energy is used peacefully in many countries. However, in the eyes of the West, the prospect of an African nation independently developing nuclear technology, even for energy purposes, challenges their long-held dominance in this field. Burkina Faso is making a statement. Africa is not just a consumer of technology, but a producer, capable of contributing to the global stage in a meaningful and independent way. This is more than just an energy project. It's about self-determination and sovereignty. It's a bold declaration that Africa, long considered a peripheral player in global geopolitics, is ready to take charge of its destiny. To understand the significance of this development, we need to look at the broader geopolitical landscape. The world is changing. The West, once the uncontested leader of the global order, is facing internal challenges and external competitors. The rise of China and Russia as global powers is shifting the dynamics of international politics. In this changing environment, countries that were once marginalized, like Burkina Faso, now see an opportunity to assert themselves on the world stage. For Traoré, the timing is perfect. Burkina Faso's move toward nuclear energy is not just a step toward energy independence, but a strategic play in a world where traditional power structures are being challenged. The West, accustomed to maintaining its dominance, may feel threatened by this development. But this shift is not just about Burkina Faso, it's about Africa as a whole. The continent is experiencing rapid technological and economic growth, with many countries looking to reduce their dependence on foreign aid and interference. Africa's potential has always been vast, but its development has often been stunted by external influences. Now, with countries like Burkina Faso taking bold steps toward technological advancement, the continent is poised to redefine what's possible. The creation of the BAAE is just one example of how African nations are increasingly seeking to break free from the constraints imposed by the global order. It's a clear message that Africa is ready to step up as a major player in international affairs. But why nuclear energy and why now? For Burkina Faso, the need for reliable energy is urgent. Frequent power outages have long hampered the country's economic development, making it difficult for businesses to operate and for citizens to enjoy a stable quality of life. Nuclear energy offers a solution to these problems by providing a dependable and sustainable power source. But the strategic benefits of pursuing nuclear technology go beyond simply keeping the lights on. Nuclear technology has long been associated with power, both in the literal and figurative sense. The countries that possess nuclear energy, or more importantly, nuclear weapons, have traditionally wielded considerable influence on the global stage. By entering the nuclear arena, Burkina Faso is signaling that it wants a seat at the table, not just in Africa, but globally. This development is particularly unsettling for the West, which has grown accustomed to setting the terms for global nuclear energy use. Historically, the West has maintained strict controls over which countries are allowed to develop nuclear technology, often citing concerns about safety, security, and non-proliferation. The idea of an African nation gaining access to this technology, even for peaceful purposes, disrupts the established power dynamics. Western nations may attempt to stop Burkina Faso's progress by employing a range of tactics: diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, or even covert operations aimed at undermining the country's nuclear program. However, Ibrahim Traoré and his administration have shown that they are not easily intimidated. Burkina Faso has already demonstrated a willingness to stand up to external pressure, and it's likely that any attempts by the West to stymie the country's nuclear ambitions will only strengthen its resolve. The BAAE's establishment is part of a broader trend across Africa. The continent is experiencing a technological and economic renaissance. Countries that were once viewed as underdeveloped are now becoming engines of growth and innovation. Burkina Faso's nuclear aspirations are a part of this larger movement toward African empowerment. And while Burkina Faso may be one of the first African countries to take this step, it likely won't be the last. Imagine the ripple effects if other African nations follow Burkina Faso's lead and pursue nuclear energy for themselves. A continent once seen as dependent on foreign technology could become a global leader in innovation. This shift could fundamentally alter the balance of power in the world, and the West may find itself facing a more independent and assertive Africa. But while the potential benefits of nuclear energy are vast, there are also significant challenges. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, lacks the specialized knowledge required to develop and maintain a nuclear program. The country will need to build a highly skilled workforce, invest in education, and establish partnerships with countries that have more experience in nuclear technology, such as Russia, China, or South Korea. In addition to the technical challenges, Burkina Faso will also need to navigate the complex regulatory landscape surrounding nuclear energy. International organizations, such as the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, have strict rules governing the development and use of nuclear technology, especially when it comes to safety and non-proliferation. To ensure that its program is successful, Burkina Faso will need to build a robust regulatory framework that meets international standards. This will require political will and financial resources, both of which will be tested in the coming years. Furthermore, the geopolitical challenges cannot be ignored. Even if Burkina Faso's nuclear program is entirely peaceful, the very fact that an African country is pursuing nuclear technology could lead to diplomatic conflicts with Western powers. There is a long history of Western nations resisting the spread of nuclear technology, particularly to countries outside of their direct sphere of influence. The West may resort to more underhanded tactics, such as trying to sabotage Burkina Faso's access to technology or supplies, or even encouraging internal divisions within the country to weaken its resolve. These strategies have been used in the past to prevent other nations from developing nuclear capabilities, and there's no reason to believe that Burkina Faso won't face similar challenges. But even with these obstacles, the potential rewards are significant. A successful nuclear program would provide Burkina Faso with a reliable energy source, boosting its economy and improving the standard of living for its citizens. Moreover, it could position the country as a regional leader in West Africa, influencing both energy policy and broader geopolitical dynamics in the region. Burkina Faso's pursuit of nuclear energy sends a powerful message to the world. Africa is no longer content to be a passive player in global affairs. The continent is ready to take its place as a leader in technological innovation and geopolitical strategy. If Burkina Faso can overcome the challenges it faces, it may well pave the way for a new era of African independence and influence. The West is likely to view Burkina Faso's nuclear ambitions with a mixture of doubt and concern. Western nations have long maintained their global dominance by controlling cutting-edge technology, particularly nuclear technology. The idea of an African nation breaking this monopoly is deeply unsettling for those who have benefited from the current power structure. But how will the West respond? Will they attempt to contain Burkina Faso's progress through economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure? Or will they be forced to acknowledge the shifting dynamics of global power and find ways to work with African nations as equal partners? The answer to these questions will have far-reaching implications, not only for Burkina Faso, but for the future of Africa and its place in the world. As we wrap up this discussion, it's clear that Burkina Faso's nuclear aspirations represent a watershed moment for Africa. Whether or not the country is pursuing nuclear weapons, its decision to enter the nuclear age sends a clear message that the global balance of power is changing. Africa is rising, and the world will have to adjust to a new reality where the continent is no longer on the sidelines. What do you think about Burkina Faso's nuclear ambitions? Do you believe this is a step toward true African independence, or will the West find a way to contain this growing movement? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this, where we explore the ongoing transformation of Africa and its impact on global geopolitics. By subscribing, you're not just staying informed, you're joining a movement dedicated to spreading knowledge and inspiring change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.